Hello, everyone, and welcome to Walking Through the Bible. God is above everything that He created. He doesn't need our honor, our devotion, or our service to be God, but He is certainly deserving of it. And even though we may feel that God is not that near to us, or somehow doesn't act in this world today, the Bible is littered with numerous situations to show that He is, and did so even when Israel was not specifically told that He would. God has acted, and God does continue to act. What should our response be to God who does this? Let's find out. So if you have a Bible with you, you can turn to the book of Psalms, to Psalm 68. We're going to be reading from verses 24 to 35. If you don't have a Bible, don't worry. Just follow along with us on the screen. The version that we'll be reading from is the New King James Version. So Psalm 68, beginning at verse 24. To the chief musician, a psalm of David, a song. They have seen your procession, O God, the procession of my God, my King, into the sanctuary. The singers went before, the players on instruments followed after. Among them were the maidens playing timbrels. Bless God in the congregations, the Lord from the fountain of Israel. There is little Benjamin, their leader, the princes of Judah and their company, the princes of Zebulun and the princes of Naphtali. Your God has commanded your strength. Strengthen, O God, what you have done for us. Because of your temple at Jerusalem, kings will bring presents to you. Rebuke the beasts of the reeds, the herd of the bulls with the calves of the peoples, till everyone submits himself with pieces of silver. Scatter the peoples who delight in war. Envoys will come out of Egypt. Ethiopia will quickly stretch out her hands to God. Sing to God, you kingdoms of the earth. O sing praises to the Lord. To him who rides on the heaven of heavens which were of old. Indeed, he sends out his voice, a mighty voice. Ascribe strength to God. His excellence is over Israel, and his strength is in the clouds. O God, you are more awesome than your holy places. The God of Israel is he who gives strength and power to his people. Blessed be God. This is our third lesson covering Psalm 68. A psalm we noted was a psalm of David, likely written after his victory over the Ammonites in 2 Samuel 12. The psalm can best be considered as consisting of 5 portions. 1, an introduction in which God is praised on general grounds, which was verses 1 to 6, which we covered 2 lessons ago. The second is praise to God for his doings at Sinai and in the wilderness, verses 7 to 10. And third, praise of God for the conquest of Canaan and the series of victories terminating in the full establishment of David's rule, verses 11 to 23, both of which we covered in the last lesson. The fourth section is praise of God in connection with his sanctuary, verses 24 to 27. And fifth is prophetic announcement of future triumphs, verses 28 to 35, both of which we'll cover today. God has now provided Israel victory over her enemies, led captivity captive, and he has ascended into his sanctuary in Jerusalem, the tabernacle, and later the temple. It could be said to have been done in a great procession of singers and players of instruments with great jubilation. Recall back to when David brought the Ark of the Covenant into Jerusalem, that which represented the presence of God. It was brought in this way. Well, God, having provided Israel victory, is said to have ascended to his sanctuary in the tabernacle the same way. The procession was led by little Benjamin, representing the first king of Israel, Saul. Judah followed on behind, which represents the current leadership structure in Israel when this psalm was written, as kings came from her. The northern tribes were represented by Zebulun and Naphtali. Now, this is a little unusual, for the northern tribes are usually represented by Ephraim. Why the difference? We don't know exactly, but geographically, these 4 tribes represented the far northern and southern boundaries. So perhaps David mentioned these tribes as to represent all of Israel, both in leadership and in geography. Regardless, we do need to know that David is speaking poetically and symbolically here. There was not a literal procession to Jerusalem where these tribes marched and sang. God was coming to Jerusalem with all Israel praising him for the victory that he provided them. Because the temple is in Jerusalem, kings of the earth would bring presents to God. We know this to have been true in David's day and later in Solomon's day as well. Israel was serving God alone at this time, hence why God was blessing them. Egypt would be subdued during this period of time from attacking Israel. They are who is being represented by the reeds. And the Syrians and Assyrians would be subdued as well. They are those represented by the bull. And had Israel continued serving God after Solomon, then these nations would have been continually subdued. But alas, we know that that wasn't the case, and we also know the consequences that Israel paid for that. But David goes further by stating that kingdoms of the earth would sing praises to God, Jehovah. What does this mean? Well, it is likely prophetically speaking of the age of the church, where people from all nations would come to obey God through Christ. It is these people who would praise God for who he is and what he has done. It is these people who would worship the God who rides on the heaven of heavens that were of old, that which existed before creation. It is these people who would extol the name of God who sends out his mighty voice on the earth today, whose excellence and strength is in the clouds, and a God who is more awesome than any holy place on this earth could ever be. It is the God described here in Psalm 69, who is the one who is able to give strength and power to his people, Israel in David's day and Christians today. Blessed be the God who is able to do these things. And thus ends Psalm 69, a song of jubilant praise to the only God of this universe. With that, our time is up for today. The Lord willing, we hope you'll join us for tomorrow's discussion of Psalm 69, verses 1 to 12, as we continue our walk through the Bible, one verse at a time. We thank you for watching Walking Through the Bible today. If you have any questions or comments, you can leave them below. But if you like this video, we ask that you consider subscribing to our channel so you won't miss out on other videos in our series, as well as share this video among your friends so that the saving message of Jesus Christ can go out to the whole world.